All right, here we are. Different lighting. The sun's setting in the west, and that means it's setting right behind the curtains of that glass door I put in the back wall here. So it's that means it's the late afternoon. Late afternoon is even past that. It's like supper times. 5:25. 5:25 Monday, the 5:25 Monday the 13th. It's a holiday day today in Canada Stan. What do I have to report? I have a bunch of emails I'm going to share. I put out a bunch of motion activated cameras, and there's nothing on there. Nothing. Put out the cameras. No eagle feathers in the chicken, the laying hen barn, whatever you want to call it, the coop, the egg coop, nor the horse barn. Nothing. Kind of probably could have called that though, right? Probably could have called that. Do I think of human beings putting eagle feathers in my outbuildings? No, I don't. No, I don't. I mean, there's some dumb humans out there, but you know, nobody's that stupid. Are they? Well, maybe. Actually, maybe, but probably not. There's my update. That's all I got to say on that. Not much. I think I'm covered in hay right now. I just went in and fed those knuckleheads. Now, let us hear some voices once again. And it is driving me frickin' crazy. I'm not hunting right now. I don't know why. I've got to reel myself in. It's tough. This time of year, I'm usually in the mountains every single day, but living on the island, it's just not possible. And they got gates all over the frickin' place. It's driving me nuts. It's enough to make me want to move. Gates. All right. What's this title? I don't even know what this is titled. Oh, quick mention. I put those video links up yesterday. 2 video links in the video description of yesterday's video. And I didn't say whether or not I agreed with anything that was said. When I suggest to everybody listen to something, why I suggest it is because there might be something in there that your gut says you need to listen to. That's all I'm saying. There might be something in there that you need to listen to. And I strongly suggest you listen. That's it. And everything too, I've had a couple of, I try to give people a chance by pre-warning and trying to say, if you're somebody who triggers it, do you get triggered? You're a pussy. To try to discourage people from allowing themselves to be triggered. People that trigger don't hear properly. They don't read properly. They read a sentence, their emotions get triggered, and they go off on a tangent that's a waste of frickin' time. Every time. Every single time. It sucks. It must suck to have the full-on triggered quality in your character built makeup, But anyway, I don't remember the name of the comedian. The comedian with the first video listed in there. Somebody says, everybody hates him. Right away he says he hates Trump. He's hating my president. Actually, no, you didn't even listen properly if that's what you believe. I don't know about the second guy. What's his name? David Icke? I think he might be a little emotional sometimes, but he's got some messages in there. Some messages he has just might resonate with a few things I've got on a shelf in the back of my head. But anyway, the other guy, the comedian, I find him to be a fairly reasonable man. I think he shoots fairly straight, but what he did say was he wasn't against Trump, and he said in the video he felt Trump's heart was in the right place when he became president, but he feels he may be scared for his or his family's life at this stage of the game, and I agree with him. I agree with that statement. But anyways, you might have to listen to it again if you think that the first video was hating on Trump. He wasn't. He said flat out. He voted for him. He supports him. He thinks he went into the position he's in now with his heart in the right place, but he thinks he may have been threatened. Me? I'd bet my life on it. He's been told what's up. I'd bet my life on it. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Might be wrong. But I have a feeling he's had a talking to. There's too much evidence pointing in the direction that he has had a talking to. Right? But anyway, there you go. That's all I had to say on that topic. Take from what you will or leave it. You know what I mean? But try not to trigger. Try not to be triggered. Work through it. Get through that triggered shit, that triggered phase of your life, you know? All right, here's an email fresh out of the pen. This is titled Corbin Dallas-YU question mark. Odd title. I've been a researcher in the UFO and paranormal field since around 1983. Over these many years, I have investigated many famous cases and met many truly remarkable individuals. Meeting these ordinary people who had their lives suddenly thrust into extraordinary events and circumstances was, without question, the best part of my own extraordinary journey. I was able to meet with them, talk with them, and get to know them. We would have many fascinating discussions, all sorts of topics from philosophy to science, morality, spirituality, and many other profound topics. They looked to me for information, for help in some cases, and for answers to the many questions they naturally had. I did my best to help them, to guide them if possible, and to help them understand why these mysterious and miraculous things had happened to them. The one question they all had, why me? I know you've asked yourself the same question, my friend. Why, out of all the people on the planet with these superhuman goddesses, pick me to bring the light of truth concerning the Sabe and Amarok to the world. Sabe and Amarok, A-M-A-R-O-K, to the world. Knowing this would be on your mind, I asked the ladies, and here's what they told me to tell you. Hold on a minute. Who's this from? Odd title, Corbin Dallas, YU question mark, and then this is from a man named Richard. Ladies? What ladies? Hold on, let me scroll back to where I was. You were chosen for 2 reasons. The first is that you are an honorable man, a protector of the innocent, a man of principle, of honor, of perseverance in the face of evil, and passionate in your search and steadfast belief in truth. This is something I've seen in you myself and knew the answer to before asking. The second reason, only you will know the truth of. The second reason they chose you was your bloodline, your ancestry. Apparently you had an ancestor of some renown and someone who they worked with long ago. So I guess you have a rather famous ancestor that was important to them. Someone whose qualities they believed would be passed on to you. I can vouch for the truth of the first. Only you will know the meaning, and the truth of the second, my friend. It is a noble and important thing they have tasked you to do, and you have done a truly wonderful job of it. Please keep up the good work, my friend Rich. Well, that's a different kind of email. Who's the ladies, first off? You know what I mean? Like, who's that? Who's the ladies? And my ancestors, actually, I think I've shared this before, but my aunt in Oslo, Norway, she did her family tree back to 700 before Christ or something. It was a long ways. When I was in Norway when I was a kid, my dad took us to a fjord where my great, whatever, how many greats back, grandfather was actually translated to King Harold the Fair-Haired. And he was actually been mimicked in a few Viking shows over the years, but that's apparently my lineage. King Harold the Fair-Haired, and actually my first name legally is Harold, on paper named after my grandfather and the grandfather before him, the grandfather before him. I'm like, I don't know how many Harolds I am named after. And I'm the first son of the first son of the first son of the first son. I don't know how many times down the road. So that's all I can tell you. It's all I know. Maybe that's what we're talking about. I don't know. But who are the ladies? Fill us in some holes there. Fill us in some questions. Appreciate the email, man. Next email, right out of the frying pan, is titled Tarpon. We talked about Tarpon yesterday, didn't we? Hello, Steve. I hope you guys are doing well. This email is more for you personally, but if you feel it's worthy of sharing, be my guest. We're all at the same coffee table together here. In your recent video, you expressed interest in tarpon fishing in Florida. Well, I happen to know a thing or two on this subject as I'm a Florida native. That's where I live currently. Excuse me. You asked about seasons and regulations. Well, right now is when the mullet are running, and as a result, that's when tarpon are the most active and closest to shore. Mullet are one of their main sources of food. Tarpon are catch and release only in Florida, but since they're not good to eat, that's not an issue in my opinion. They're damn fun to catch though, no doubt. You mentioned herring and the similarities. Imagine if those herring topped out at 140 pounds and gave an insane topwater show. Then you'll get the idea. Theoretically, you can catch tarpon all around Florida, but they do concentrate more to the south part of the state. Although I've seen them in St. Augustine many times, that's more the area I live in. If you want to fish more for the dinner table, then you can find many different types of fish here. My personal favorite is sheep's head, but there are many others that don't disappoint. Mahi-mahi, triple tail, speckled sea trout, and red drum, to name a few. If you want a fight for your life kind of fishing experience, look into Goliath grouper. I'll attach a picture of a friend with his PB red drum. Just holler if you got any questions or I can help with any interests. Thanks, brother. Rick. All right, man. Appreciate that email big time. Yeah, the Goliath grouper, I've seen that's been kind of a mainstreamish YouTube flavored video that's been hitting for a while, hasn't it? Those fights look just like a halibut fight to me. Actually, almost looks like, well, marlin are pretty good too, but the mahi-mahi, I love eating those suckers. Wow, those things are good to eat. Big time. And I appreciate that email, man, big time. Appreciate you. I find my way there, I'll be getting a hold of all you guys. Without a doubt. All right, next. Fresh out of the pan. This is titled, Your Eagle Feathers and a Sequence of Events. Okie dokie, here we go. Well, I wasn't going to send you this, but after hearing of your eagle feathers, I had to. What's happening with the feathers at your place is beyond weird. I'm thinking you probably live pretty far out in the sticks, and if someone is screwing with you, I'd say they were taking their life in their hands. From my experience, I've come to believe that whatever these entities are, they have a strange sort of common sense compared to ours. There's a method to their madness. I really got to tell you, I hate to keep writing you about this subject, but I feel like I have to share this stuff when I come across it. I'll let you know. Right now, I'm 65 years old, so I've been around. And I told you my status on my time spent in the forest. Just so you know, I'm not some Johnny-come-lately. Anyway, here it goes. This is what I got from this summer. And if you can't remember, I'm in southern Ohio in the Appalachian foothills, right on the Ohio River. I'm just trying to refresh your memory because I know you go through a lot of incidents. Understatement. This is about the graveyard in the Scioto County, Ohio. In Scioto County, Ohio. It started a couple years ago with the dizzy spell while I was mowing the grass up there and feeling a presence other than my own. What you call pressure. Okay, first of all, this spring I found a shed on my grandparents' grave. Okay, for all those not familiar, a shed is an antler that's fallen off at the end of the fall, early winter, off of a deer, I'd imagine. Ohio, so it's going to be a deer. A deer antler is what he's talking about. Second, I took a panorama with my cell phone and seen some weird stuff after the fact. It looks like something half in and half out of reality. I did not see it at the time. Anyone could say it was shadows and pareidolia, probably misspelled. I sent that pic to you. I don't know if you've seen it, but I told you to share it or keep it under your hat because of the nature of it. But I'm telling you now, if you look at it, whatever it is, it's out of place. Okay, next. Memorial Day, I take a live potted plant, flowers, up there and I put it on the grave. All summer we had a heat wave without rain, so I go up there and water the plant regularly. Every time I go up there to water it, I feel like I'm being watched. Bracket, you told me not to pick a fight with it when I told you I was thinking of harassing it with my crow call end bracket, when it threw a boulder up on the gas line, like it was pissed off trying to get rid of me and my four-wheeling friends last year, or maybe the year before, I can't remember. Well, anyways, I get the idea I'll take my .22 pistol with me when I go to water the plant, and pop off a few rounds every time I water the plant. I figured that would drive off whatever's watching me, or at least it'll make me feel better about it. I also take my .44 mag with me, in a shoulder holster. Anyway, I go up there and shoot the .22 around the edges of the graveyard, and then I water the plant. I did that a couple of times. Then I get the bright idea to throw a beer can over the hill into the greenbrier where no one could see it, or even get to it, with the thought of, if that thing turns back up on this grave, I'll know something is definitely watching me. I'm starting to figure out how they think. Anyway, I never really thought it would happen, right? So, next time I go to water the plant, the beer can is on the grave. I like to shit when I almost shit when I seen it laying there. Okay, then I shoot the .22 and water the plant and leave. The next time I come back to water the plant, it's turned upside down, right where it was sitting. I seen it coming up the hill in my four-wheeler, and I thought, man, it's got to be turkeys done that. Maybe because it's been so dry, and it had wet dirt in it. But I'm telling you now, there was no mess around it. It looked like something or someone had picked it up and turned it upside down and sat it down in the exact spot without spilling a single grain of dirt. Well, now I'm pissed. I've been nursing that flower all summer. So I get out my .44 mag this time and I shoot around the edges of the graveyard. I wanted to let that thing know I'll F its ass up. I get crazy when I think someone's trying to intimidate me. Honestly, I don't put up with that kind of shit. It makes me call the bluff, even if I know I'm going down. I can't help it, it's just my personality. Other than that, I'm a real nice sort of person. And then I leave. I go back a couple days later, and there's a branch twisted off the tree in front of the grave about 10 feet up, just one. And the branch is on the grave. Now I'm thinking, okay, you're a pretty dude. I think he meant pretty big dude. I stood up on my four-wheeler to see if I could reach it. No dice. It was showing me how big it was, and wanted me to think hard about it. And that's all I got for now, but it probably ain't over yet. Many people are buried there, and I ain't backing down. I hope whatever it is, it will just leave me the hell alone. I think an SKS and a 30-round clip will be standard equipment for a while. Anyway, I was going to sit on that until I heard about your eagle feathers. One thing I know about this world is that very strange shit does happen. Be careful out there. You seem like a really good dude, and now for some reason you have it up around your place. You're going to have to sit down and think hard about what's trying to get across to you with the eagle feathers. I know I sound crazy, but you're going to have to think sideways about it. You got to think like they do. A friend in the States. Okay, friend of the States, appreciate you, man. Be safe out there. You know, it seems to work for me. Like, all right, you want to go up to that graveyard and not be messed with. And I'm not saying I don't have a clue who's messing with you. All right? Like I said, I'm not that guy. Every single bump in the night or in the forest, every single weird, strange noise, unexplainable item isn't Bigfoot to me. I'm not the guy. Hold on a minute, I gotta turn some lights on here. So, now you can see the sun's gone down behind the trees there. Oh, I still get that bug in me, but I'm not too bad. But anyway, sometimes some people, especially the people that want attention, the worst thing you can do is just not give it to them. Believe me, I've gone through that a few times since I started this. Do you remember back in the beginning? All those so-called big names, a bunch of them just doing everything they could to get to me. I never mentioned their names once. Probably drove them bananas, right? But anyway, I'd suggest just ignore them. Don't give them any attention at all. Don't shoot any guns. Don't say anything. Just ignore them. Let's go about your business and keep it in your mind. I'm not here for you. Just leave me alone. it seems to work for me for the most part, right? I mean, if you guys have seen some of the hikes I just did last week, I mean, we are talking, I dove into some timber in the north, the boreal forest, and I just went for it in one direction forever. I don't know how many times. And if there's going to be ever a time to pace a human being or to torment them in any way, that would have been the time, right? Yeah, I did get growled at once, but it was just a growl to make me stop and not go in there. That was it. Was it a grizzly bear? Probably. Do I know it was a grizzly bear? No. But I didn't get harassed, I didn't get followed, and I didn't have anything thrown at me. Right? And as far as what's going on here at my place, do I need to start playing games? And I'm going to call it games. I'm going to call it games. That's how I would refer to it here. If I'm going to start leaving stuff out for somebody or something. Nope. There's a big frickin' fly in here. I hate those suckers. Hold on a sec. What I'm saying is, I don't need to play any games. Especially those subtle. They're just games to me, as far as I'm concerned. It's like, I realize there's far more intelligence going on here than just leaving a toy or a rock or a stick on a stump. Beyond that, if there is something other than a human being here trying to get my attention, like I said, okay, you got my attention. What's up? You know what I mean? I'm not entertaining games, leaving shit back and forth with each other. I'm not into it. I don't think that does anything. Because whoever is here, whoever's doing this, they know who I am. They know what I'm about. And I'm not into bullshit, so I'm not about leaving anything or playing any tests or games. It's like 10 frickin' eagle feathers left inside my barn, between my barn and the chicken coop. That's good enough. The game's been played. Okay, it's boring now. You know? And then we'll see. I'll continue to leave my cameras up, and I can tell you right now, I have my guts telling me that as long as there's cameras up, there's going to be no eagle feathers showing up, unless they decide to put them somewhere else, and hopefully not inside my house. Because you start leaving shit inside my house, then I'm gonna have to do something, or have to figure out a few routes and use a few methods to rid your ass. You know what I mean? Okay, anyways, I'm babbling. I'm babbling. Be safe down there. Just try just to ignore. Don't give them any... If you don't want attention, don't give them any attention, no matter what happens. You know? Just saying. Just saying. Now. I have an email thread here I came across from Scott Carpenter and a lady, and it wasn't marked as read, and then I dove in a little deeper, and I think I have a bunch of emails from Scott with other people included with their encounters. But anyway, so listen to this. It's from a woman named Kathy. Dear Scott, I feel embarrassed. I didn't realize I accidentally sent my email before I finished it. Thank you for your compassion and speedy reply. My encounter was in my early 20s. I'd gone camping with college friends in Yosemite. We'd been there a couple of days, and on the third, I had a fight with my boyfriend early evening before dark. I remember I ran in the forest and just off a path to sit and have a good cry. This sounds familiar. Maybe I did read this. Well, it's not long. I'll keep going. About 15 minutes had passed, and I had a strange feeling, and my body began to ache. It's hard to explain. I was in a sitting position with my head down and my hands over my face, as not wanting anyone to see me. I remember looking up, and about 30 feet off to my left, I could swear to this day I saw this gigantic, hairy, muscular being walk out of a portal or something, as it was in front of a boulder, not behind or a tree, unless it was invisible or something and I didn't see it standing there when I sat down. The thought in my mind, besides being scared to death, quickly went to, I should stand up and walk towards it. I know this is wrong and crazy, as it would be like walking towards a bear without any defensive. In a matter of seconds, my feelings quickly changed to dread, and I shouldn't be there, as my boyfriend and friends yelling my name quickly approached. I seemed lost in the moment, not knowing what to do, and my head hurt, and I felt my energy draining. This brief encounter was only about 10 seconds, as I recall, before I glanced towards where my boyfriend's voice calling me, as he was almost right there. Then when I looked back at the boulder, the scary being was gone. Not any sounds of it leaving, as it was when I saw it appear. I didn't sleep that night at all, and insisted we go home first light. Of course, no one believed me and thought I had just seen a bear, and because I'd been crying and upset, they all thought I was just being emotional. In fact, I heard the others laughing later about the story I'd told them. And as I mentioned, I wake up around 3 a.m. most nights thereafter, having strange, weird dreams that I'm walking, and the thought of feeling is pretty much always the same. And the thought and feeling is pretty much always the same. I'm lost and don't know which way to go. I still have this sense of dread. If it's really bad, I'll get a severe headache. I do remember talking about Bigfoot and my experience years and years later when I was working late with my boss and some coworkers. I think they were talking about UFOs or something. And I remember them not believing and having a few laughs. My boss did come up to me the next day and instructed me not to tell stories like I did. I worked at a local school district, and he said he wouldn't want any parents to think an unstable employee, me, worked with their children. I'm 65 now and just retired after 30 years. Thus is probably why I'm speaking out now and have watched your YouTube and How to Hunt Steve Isdall's channel. You both have provided some form of, I'm not crazy, I know what I saw. I do pray, and as far as counseling, wouldn't know where to begin. I'm currently raising a 2-year-old grandson and taking care of my very ill father by myself. I wouldn't want to jeopardize someone thinking I'm not fit to do so. Sorry I rambled on, as you and Mr. Steve Isdall have now given people and myself a safe platform. I'm hoping after sharing this I'll sleep better. I truly appreciate your kindness and support. Wishing you and yours a happy, safe, and healthy holidays. Take care. Wow. And here's another one with it. Oh my goodness, I did not expect you to reply, but then again, not knowing more about you, I shouldn't have. I think we are kindred spirits besides our experiences with Sasquatch, and yes, I do believe we are here at certain times for one another. I'm so happy and very supportive of you helping Steve out on his endeavors. As far as my nightmares, was a little shaken up after seeing your pictures with flashbacks, and then a huge sigh of relief, and I dropped those ton of bricks I've been carrying for over 40 years. I used to hunt and spent my growing up years being raised by my grandparents, living in a remote little house in the wilderness. We had very little money and lived off the land mostly, and I'd like to take my grandson camping, and will probably do so now I feel better. But you can believe I'll make sure we are together, tied at the hip, and with people at all times. I don't know how you and Steve go out by yourselves. I pray more people get educated before something goes astray with them or someone close. Kind of like all those disappearances Dave talks about. Scary to think I might have been one so easily. I believe these creatures have the power to influence our thoughts. Why else would I have felt compelled to walk towards something that scared me to death? I can only say the thoughts it put in my head, which, as you know, stayed with me, and the guilt. I've changed my mind about being anonymous, so if my story can help out others, as with you and Steve's projects, please let me know. I spent most of my life helping others, serving the public, my community, family, and will continue to do so, as you both. Thank you again for lightening my nightmares and being sincere and caring. Also for joining in with Steve and his upcoming projects. I'm looking forward to them. Wish I could do something for you in exchange, or him. Happy holidays again, praying for you and yours. Stay safe and healthy, Kat. There you go. It's good to hear the relief someone has after sharing their ordeal with somebody who gets it and is not going to laugh at them, right? And I don't know if she's still listening or not, but I hope she is, and I hope she's doing well. And I hope she's enjoying the real world. There you go. Well, Scott actually helped a lot of people. You know, he talked to a lot of people to get through what was going on with them before he passed. This email is titled, "This is as real as it gets. Caught this by accident. It was following me. Right side, fourth of the way up, vertical black stripe." All right, we'll only have to put this one on the video. Let's have a look at this. All right, what do we got? Here's the photo. Right side. It looks like there's two things. There's one midway up on the left and something on the right. So I guess we'll zoom in on the instructed one on the right. Looks a little odd. Almost like a transparent shadow. Following you. That's a weird thing, isn't it? You can see all the branches through it. Odd. Very odd. So look at the left side. I guess that's nothing. Well, that's kind of different. That's a weird shadow-like being, right? I mean, obviously you can see through it. Doesn't make sense for there to be a shadow right there, does it? I wonder what you mean, how you meant. You said it was following you. Did you hear something? Was it making noise? Was it pacing you or something? Did you hear something? You know what I mean? Creepy. Very creepy. Who's next? What do we got? Here's another one. Yeah, email me back. Let me know exactly what happened there to let you believe you're being followed. This next email is titled, "Bigfoot in the Backyard." Said many of us. Hi, Steve. You can call me Joanne. I want to thank you for bringing this topic to light. You do a fantastic job. Well, here I go. I believe I have had several experiences with these forest people. To start, in 2007, summertime, we were awoken in the middle of the night by something pounding on our house. This was no tapping, but pounding. I woke up, heart pounding, scared as hell. I passed it off as maybe our kids' friends were out in the middle of the night being kids. Then I thought, who does that at 2 a.m.? But I still passed it off. I live in Vermont and have the deep woods in my backyard. Another time when my husband worked nights, something walked by my bedroom window that was so heavy I could feel the vibrations on my bed. I passed that off as maybe a moose. I know it gets better. I want to say early morning in July 2020, we took our border collie, Dixie, up on the mountain for her walk. There's lots of cross-country ski trails where we go. My husband puts game cameras out off these trails. He wanted to get his cards to check them. We're walking up the trail and we heard this high-pitched wind sounds. Something we've never heard before. The minute he stepped off the trail to get his cameras, it stopped. And to the left on the trail, it's very hilly, so who knows if it was watching from above. I've only gone back once. I'm too afraid. Coming from a family of hunters and knowing animal sounds, this was nothing I've ever heard, ever. I have 2 bad knees and I can't run, and I have an acoustic neuroma brain tumor, so I only can hear good out of my left ear. I always say I can live with being deaf. After that, I got to thinking about Bigfoot. And 2 years ago in the summer, I had the window open over our heads to let the breeze in while we slept, and all of a sudden I smelled the most disgusting smell, like dog and sewer. And here again, I looked over at my husband and thought, it can't be, LOL. Next morning, he gets up and says, you had a rough night. I looked at him and I said, I thought it was you. The thing was outside our bedroom window. I'm sorry this is long. I forgot to tell you our dog Dixie has been afraid to go outside for the past 4 years at night, especially in summer. She runs past the table at dinner to kennel up, and it's not even dark outside. Finally, in the summer of 2022, my husband went to work and it was about 5 a.m. and I had the window open over my bed. I got up and I kid you not, I heard whop, whop, whop. I have power lines in my backyard that go right up the mountain, and it was music to my ears. I only wish my husband could have heard it. I'm just about done here. Fall of 2023, had that bedroom window open, and there was a little breeze. Paul gets up, takes a shower for work, and while he's showering, I hear a stone or a stick hit our oil tank so hard, it went ding. That's how it was spelled. Whatever was behind that was powerful. Well, there you go. Bigfoot in the backyard. I believe they're out there. In my case, I think they use the power lines to navigate to where they want to go and for energy. I literally have mountains in my backyard and streams up on the mountain. Great habitat for them. Blessings to you and yours. All right, Joanne, appreciate that. I can guarantee you there's no moose anywhere that can walk by your house and make everything rattle inside the house from walking by. It's not going to happen. Creepy. And you wonder why, right? Why the attention? That's what gets me sometimes, is why the attention. I know a lot of people are going to go, it's always the juveniles or pranksters or tricksters or just playing games. Yeah, well, knowing what we know about these intelligent beings sure seems, I just don't understand why even bother. I don't get it. Why bother? There's lots of other cool, crazy-ass cool shit you must be able to do if you were one of these beings, right? This next email is titled Footprint Pics. Steve, please don't share my last name. I've been watching your YouTube channel for several years now, and I've decided to share with you a picture I took on a private bluff on the Cumberland Plateau in East Tennessee. It was October 2021, cool enough not to be going barefoot, and me and my wife's family were vacationing at a family-owned cabin near Sparta. While there, we drove up to a nearby high bluff that overlooked the valley below, which is owned by some friends of the family, to have a picnic. They have a covered pavilion with picnic tables on their property at the edge of the bluff, around 250 yards from their house. We shared a meal, and while my wife and her 3 sisters were taking some group pictures of their family, I decided to walk along the fence row, which was around 30 yards long, that consisted of a couple of strands of barbed wire around 3 foot high that separated the owner's property from a stretch of small trees, vines, and brambles that descends on the other side of the fence to the edge of the bluff that falls off around 300 feet below at a very steep angle. Steve, it would be pure foolishness to step over the fence and do anything on the other side. Well, you would probably be okay the first 10 to 12 feet. Anything after that would be to risk your life. Believe it or not, this being such a remote and primitive area, I decided to look for hairy man footprints while my wife and her sisters were taking pictures to kill the time. And I found this print within 3 to 4 minutes of looking. It was crazy. The print was of something walking straight up to the barbed wire fence from the bluff area on the dangerous side of the fence. Something no human being would do, in my opinion. If I had stepped over the barbed wire fence, I would have turned sideways or climbed back over it from the other side the same way. My footprint would have been parallel with the fence as I would straddle over it one leg at a time. This footprint was coming straight at the fencing from somewhere below where the cliff runs over the side. You can actually see in the picture the toes had to dig in more so than the heel. It appears to have just stepped over the fence as it walks straight up the hill. The picture measures 14 inches in length, as measured by stretching out my hands thumb to thumb, and at its widest is 5 to 5.5 wide at the ball area. I looked up a shoe measuring chart, and that size foot for a human would be in the Shaquille O'Neal size. The curious thing to me is it doesn't fit the usual Bigfoot prints you see of a broad heel with an indentation at the middle of the print like a human arc, and then widening out at the ball of the foot and toes. The print was only around 2.5 to 3 inches wide at the heel. And it was that way for almost half of the print until it widened out on both sides to the 5.5 inches of the ball. If you look real close above the top of the toes, you can see a triangular shaped toenail indentations in the ground. What human being has toenails shaped like a triangle that would be long enough, almost half an inch in length, to leave impressions in fairly firm ground? Also notice the depth of the impression. I don't know what creature made this, but it was heavy, and its print is shaped like a human print at the toe area with the longer big toe and smaller toes, descending in size like ours. Thanks for taking the time, Steve. Monty. Well, you know what sucks, and I've said it a million times, daylight photos of prints rarely, if ever, work out unless it's in mud. Damn it. So, Monty, I appreciate it, and I know you saw what you saw, but for me, maybe I'm a dumbass or half blind, I don't know, but it's just very, very hard for me to see. Be cool if you could have, like, outlined it, you know what I mean? Like, got on a... I can kind of see we're looking at in that toe area a little bit. Yeah. Kind of odd. Is that the only one? You only found one, right? Well, there you go. Appreciate that, man. But again, you know, it's so hard. It's just so hard to take pictures of any kind of print in broad daylight in the ground and have it come out as clear as what you're looking at. That's all I'm saying. And there you go. All right, so I'm going to get going in for dinner. I think some more of those oil of oregano pills or whatever whatever they are, she's been stuffing in me. Get rid of this little nasty parasite bug that's in me. I feel too bad. Head's a little congested, a little bit dizzy now and then a little bit, but I'm all right. Tomorrow should be better. And share my story at howtohunt.com. That's where you email to get your experience shared with the rest of all these like-minded people who know what's up or trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to figure out what's up. And you got some important truth you want to share with as much of the world as you can, or some bad SOBs you want to expose, email me at sharemystory@howtohunt.com and I'll share it. I ain't scared. Hope everybody had a great weekend, and I think I'll be back tomorrow. Later.